So, Michelle, what a fucking day.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna need one of these. Yeah, it's a Diet Coke. You know we're getting cash on the show when Henrik has a Diet Coke on the air. Uh, um, so I don't even know where to begin. My life, like many people's lives, has been thrown into chaos for over a year.
Hmm.
Uncertainty and worry and insecurity of many things. And during lockdown, we started a movie. We started one movie that is only languishing because I am languishing. One movie where I need to why I have this beard. Is a movie where I need to film my part in it. And I actually had
Hmm.
started debating just recasting myself because it was taking so long to get better. Um, and the other thing was I got hired. So, okay, for people who are listening to this who are, very into my movie projects, during lockdown, I had two options, really. The options were find a way to work no matter what. Like ergo starting like a webcam horror movie or starting like a really what the other one was, which is a really small western,
Hmm.
like incredibly small. Because we were trying to do it in November, but then the county surged and we had to hold off on the production for safety, for health safety, and I'm fine with that. But we had it crazy small, less than 9 people on set, and it was all outdoors. Which is a good way to, which was I think we were doing enough, except then while we were on break from weather issues, people got COVID. So then we were like, okay, well then we're gonna have to wait a little while, it is what it is. So but that project I took on was for, and I don't mean this to sound cynical, but it was for money. I mean, I make movies because I love it, and I make movies to make money to pay my bills. And the options were either find movies to pay my bills, find projects to pay my bills, or do something that is completely unacceptable, which is dip into the Babysitter Massacre Kickstarter money,
Hmm.
which has been sitting and waiting for the films to be shot.
Yeah.
But that's been hard because a lot of the people who backed the Babysitter Massacre Kickstarter are rightfully so frustrated. We had one of the main cast members had a sudden, very serious death in the family, and it threw production off. And then, literally, the end of May was when we were tentatively going to start Babysitter Massacre 2, but that was planned in January of 2020. So that didn't happen. And but so people have been frustrated and stuff, but it's hard because then they'll be like, well, why is the I heard on your Patreon you're starting a new movie or whatever, and it's like that movie is to pay my bills because otherwise I have to spend the money that I'm going to spend on that. And it's very, but that's, if it's like using a finger to plug a hole in a dam, and then but then
Hmm.
there's another hole, and it's like so you plug that one, and it's like, but then you can't plug that hole because you only have two arms in there. That's kind of what it's like, to be honest. It kind of feels like that.
Yeah. I mean, I would suggest not using your fingers and using
Chewing
like
gum.
a. Oh, I was gonna say like Flex Seal.
Well, I mean, yeah. That's like saying like, oh, you're driving like a junker car. It's like I would recommend like a Mercedes Benz, but you just
Okay. Okay. So Flex Seal isn't as expensive as a car, but I do
compared to my
understand.
fingers, Flex Seal is infinitely more expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Fine.
literally, because my fingers came with my body, Flex Seal is literally infinitely more expensive because compared to zero, any amount is infinitely more expensive.
But how much are your fingers worth?
I don't like where this conversation is going, Michelle. Um, you're making me nervous. Uh, no, but so no, so that's what I've been dealing with,
Hmm.
and with the Western, which I'm doing for hire, and my producers have been incredibly generous with the fact that we had to shut down due to COVID, and then we had to stay shut down due to my having COVID. Um, None of us could have known that I was going to be sick so long and still be to some degree sick. I mowed the lawn today. It went overall well, but I can tell there's stuff wrong with me when I walk the dogs or go for a, just a long walk or mow the lawn or go up a bunch of stairs or any of those things. I can tell that there are things wrong with me.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, it's like it's hard not to get emotional because I hate saying like there are things wrong with me. But that's precisely what's going on. Like medically, there's just stuff wrong that needs to get right.
Yeah.
And but I hate it because my reputation is being is having wherewithal.
Mhm.
My reputation is being the kind of person who, who can take it and get back up because that's always what I've done. But sometimes it's hard having that reputation
Yeah.
when all of a sudden, all that happens is all that feels like happens is my body failing me all the time. I feel like that's all I ever do. And and it's not like this is all ego because it's not like I'm dying. It's not like I have a terminal illness. But some days it's hard to tell my sense of self that, you know? So, I got news today that a member of our cast who cannot be replaced is not available. In 30 days, they'll be gone for 5 months. So the options are recast and start the movie entirely from scratch, which is really not an option financially, or get the movie done in the next like 32 days.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm not ready physically. And I'm scared of that. I mean, making movies is, 10-hour, 12-hour days on your feet when you're a director and walking and pacing and moving and lifting and just constantly.
Mhm.
And it's hard. It's hard work. I love it, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
And on top of my diminished lung capacity and my occasional sudden fatigue and all of that, I've been sedentary for months. And I was already sedentary for months because of lockdown, but now I've been sedentary for months because literally at the harshest of my recovery, all I was told to do by everybody, by doctors, by friends, by everybody was please
Mhm.
rest, please lay down, please sit down. So now I'm sitting here, and I'm like, okay, it's time to, show what you're made of, man. And then there's a part of me that's like, I don't know what I'm made of.
I mean, I mean, if 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 I could say some stuff.
No,
Okay.
no, please,
I
please,
know.
please talk for the love of God. Please talk.
Like it's really hard because everything is incredibly unpredictable just in life in general. You never know what you're going to end up needing to do, and it doesn't mean that you're not resilient, that this is happening and you're not failing anybody. No one's like, oh man, Henrik has like that like long haul COVID. I knew he was weak. Like no
I'm
one's
sure
thinking that.
somebody has to think that.
Well, I mean, like maybe there's some really shitty person who's like, I don't believe in COVID, so he's just decided to get it for like 6 months because, you know. But in general, people aren't, like it's not good, but like nobody's like, oh man, I I really liked him before he got sick.
That's the way I feel about me. I'm like, I really liked him before he got sick.
Oh, but it's different, I think.
Well, when your reputation is resilience, getting really sick is really hard.
Mhm.
When I had my gallbladder issue, I didn't feel like myself for months. Even when I was fully done
Mhm.
recovering, I
Yeah.
just didn't feel like me.
Yeah.
Um, I felt weaker. I felt like I just so it's hard because it's like, do I still have it in me to do this? And I mean, yeah, if I ask my brain, yes, I do. But if I ask my hate brain, maybe not. And that's really hard.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, sorry,
No,
for a second I
please
thought you
say
were gonna say
some,
something.
please, for the love of God, talk.
Um, what I think what I was gonna say was like just I mean, I know it's not really possible, but if you could like if you start and you're like, wow, this is really, really difficult and stuff. I'm not telling you to stop. I'm just saying like be kind to yourself because you this is something unfortunately that you don't have a lot of control over. And that sucks. I don't like not having control over things, so I understand. But like this is one of those like where like you're only going to hurt yourself if you take it out on yourself that you're not getting better faster.
And,
um
and I appreciate that a lot. I do.
I know it doesn't really help though,
I mean, but you're right. You
but
know,
that
I
does but what does that matter?
but I mean, what I mean is like, we're taking we're making plans to try to make this easier on me.
Hmm.
Trying to We're gonna try to. This is something unheard of in my filmmaking career. We're trying to add days to the production when generally the goal is always to remove days to make it as short as possible.
Hmm.
Right now we're looking at a 4-day schedule and we're debating making it 5, maybe even 6 if it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't,
Yeah.
so that our goal, Rachel's the producer on it, and Rachel, her goal is to see if she can get it down to 7-hour days so that I'm not just wrecking myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But can we do that? I don't know. Um, I don't know. I know that I'll probably rise to the occasion because I always have in the past, but this is so different. And I just wanted it to be on my own terms. I thought I'd be ready probably at the middle of June to do
Hmm.
it. And
Hmm.
now it's like, okay, well, that's great. Well, instead, you'll be finishing at the beginning of June.
Yeah.
So, man, my nose won't stop running. Um, on the plus side, when we started shooting in November, days were really short, so we had to get up really early. At least now I won't have to get up really early.
Yeah.
We'll be on set at like 9, and
Hmm.
we'll have, and if we need it, like if we have like a weather setback or something like that, if we need it, we'll have sun until almost 9 o'clock in the night. So we'll
Hmm.
have like, if we need it, flex hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's gonna be hard because I'm not good at pacing myself on a movie set. I mean, on the average movie I do, I produce, direct, and camera up. Um, so that's an incredible amount of work. Constantly moving, constantly thinking, and it it takes it out of you. It makes you tired. I mean, I love it. I'm addicted to it to an extent. But the longer I go between doing it, the more I remember how hard it is.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge. I'm going to be asking basically every friend in the area if they'll if they can come to set any day
Hmm.
and just do any help, just hands help, so that I'm not hiking, because we're shooting outdoors. It's a western. We're shooting, I have to hike into a prairie, and that's where we're filming. And then at the middle, at lunch, we all go eat lunch, and then we hike to the other side of the prairie to shoot for the rest of the day. I need to not I'm notorious for like hiking back and forth from like production to where we're shooting
Hmm.
to get things and manage everything, and I can't do that. I like, once I
Yeah.
get out there, it'll be like, okay, I'll have like a walking quotient, and so like, as weird as it makes me feel, it's like I'm gonna need people to literally just be able to go get the bottled water,
Hmm.
to go get whatever. And it's funny. I mean, on the plus side, now most of us are vaccinated and most of us are and just COVID in general is different. So I can have a bigger crew at least. That's a nice plus.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when we started, the idea was to have as little people as humanly possible. And now it's like I need the opposite. I'd like there to be like 5 people helping instead of 2.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you're one of my pals in the Dayton area and you generally have weekends free, you should send me a little Facebook message and let me know if you would like to come and hang out outside with a bunch of people dressed like cowboys and help me out. I would appreciate it. But yeah, and Michelle, if you're not doing anything, you're You're more than welcome to drive 8.5 hours out
I
and work on it.
honestly, I really wish that I could. Um,
I know you do. I know you do. Um, you're a good friend. You really are. Um,
Not good enough to drive out, apparently.
I bet you if I like made an impassioned case that I desperately needed you to, you would though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not worth the level that I need help is not worth what you would have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to put you through that.
Oh, okay.
You know, if I was like vomiting blood or I don't know why I went to vomiting blood, but
No,
you
I'm not coming. I'm
know,
scared.
but you know, no. So it's yeah, it's not. It's gonna be all right, but it's hard. You know, um, it is. It's just super duper fucking difficult. And to be honest, you know, as we're recording this, I'm like, this is really more of a phone call between us than it should be a show.
Yeah.
But I mean, I may as well put it out there, because I try to be as candid and I try to be as authentic as I can. And I don't know how much more authentic I can be than talking about the fact that I feel fucking, you know, broken and and like I'm not good enough. So and like you know, and a little scared.
Yeah.
So whatever. So this might be a short show. I don't know how much longer I want to talk about all this. But I know something else we could talk about.
No.
Somebody has a birthday
Yeah.
in like, well, while we're recording this, it's in like 2 days. But
Yeah.
when people are hearing this, it will have been 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle,
Yeah.
how old are you turning?
I don't know.
You stopped counting?
Yeah, I get confused.
Did I ever tell you
I'm so old.
the saddest lazy thing about me? Have I told you that when people ask me how old I am? Sometimes I
Um,
forget,
yeah.
and I instead of doing the math myself, which is too hard, you know, with the months and everything,
Uh-huh.
I just go on Wikipedia because it has
Oh, right,
a
yeah.
thing that automatically calculates your age based on
Yeah.
date of birth. So I literally people are like, how old are you? And I'll like type my name into Wikipedia really quick and be like, oh, 34. Especially like that first 3 months that you're a new age,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it's a little hard to keep up with it.
My brain does the opposite, where it like as soon as I turn the age, it's already like, okay, you're the next year, and then I get confused as to to which one I am.
Yeah, your mind's just like, no, you're closer to the grave than that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
Yeah.
hey. But I wish I could come and see you for your birthday. It doesn't quite work right now.
That's okay.
Um,
I know.
but I'm glad you're going to be doing things with your family.
But it's gonna rain and be 57 degrees, so I don't really know what we're gonna
You
do.
like it cold and wet. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Um, but I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I mean, I'm going to wish you a happy birthday on your birthday too, but I want to wish you one here.
Thanks. You don't have to wish me a happy birthday on my birthday if you don't want to.
Of course I do.
Okay.
Of course I do. I'm very proud to be your friend, and I like celebrating your birthday. So
Thanks.
it's like, see, I was like, well, I've been so uncomfortable the whole show. Time to make Michelle uncomfortable. Happy birthday. And you're like, oh God, no, no. So, but I highly recommend everybody here listening, send Michelle a happy birthday. You know, however you want to send it to her. I will include her address, phone
Sweet.
number, and social security number in the show notes.
Oh man. I was hoping you don't have to give them my social security number. I was just gonna say like address, just come punch me. It's
Just
fine.
but they could give your identity a punch by having your social.
Same thing.
I had my dentist office call me today and be like, "Hey, just so you know, you haven't paid your health savings account in 2.5 or 3 months
Oh
or
no.
whatever it was. It was something like that." And I was like, "Oh, why is this my first notice?" It's from when my credit card or my debit card got stolen, and I had to have it
Oh,
canceled. I
okay.
forgot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they might. I was in a good mood that day, so I didn't ask questions. I think they charged me a fee or something
Oh
because it's
man.
like, well, it couldn't have been that big of a fee because I pay $29 a month, and I had to pay them $71 to get current.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Um, Well, you know, it is like when you have a fuzzy version of a number in your head,
Hmm.
like you just kind of like it was 70 something, and I'm like, man, that's almost 3 months. And then when I say the actual number out loud, I'm like, actually, that's 2 months and like $10.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's not too bad. But I got current with them because this is a very exciting thing to talk about. But my dental health savings account, what it does is I pay $29 a month in, and in exchange for paying that in, I get 2 cleanings and 1 X-ray a year. It ends up coming out to like $20 more than paying cash,
Okay.
but it's spread out over the whole month, and I get 20% off all dental procedures.
It's always good.
Which, I mean, that, you know, if you need a crown, that'll save you a nice bit of money. You might save
Hmm.
80 to $100 on a crown, depending on how serious it is. So I do that. It's a little bit easier. Because, well, especially because, you know, I used to always have to go like, when they'd say like, we recommend a X-ray this month, this visit. And I'm like,
Hmm.
now
Yeah.
they're just like, time for your X-ray. I'm like, I like it this way. Like, it's
Hmm.
just already done. So, and when you leave, like, you don't get any paperwork or anything. They just say, have a great day. And you're like, thanks, you know?
Hmm.
So that's all nice too, instead of having to settle your bill at the end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're caught up with that and stuff.
it was the last goddamn thing.
Hmm.
Like I reset my fucking auto stuff, which I love that. I like my auto insurance, but I love that when my card was declined, instead of calling me or emailing me and saying, hey, your card was declined, do you want to update your whatever, they just send me a letter that says, hey, if you don't pay this by, you know, June 1st, you're no longer a client. And I'm like,
Jeez.
that's what I know. The only thing that didn't make me mad was that it did say like June 1st. I was like, oh, that's like almost 2 months from when they
Hmm.
sent me the notice. But I was like, why is this notice just saying like notice of canceling your fucking membership?
Yeah.
Why, like, do you think my card's declined because I just hate you guys so much? I didn't call you to cancel anything. I just canceled my fucking debit card to fuck you. Like, you think that's why I did it? Just to fuck you? I like my insurance. Like, it's like they're the guys who like call me and go, hey, we got your insurance cheaper, which weirds you out
It
deeply.
does.
But
Um, well, obviously they only care about you when you're paying them, and as soon as you stop paying them, they're ready to just throw you out since
I feel
they're
like that's the case in a lot of situations.
yes.
But it was just, yeah, it was just weird. It was like maybe that's just standard, that it just says like, unless payment continues, you must wish to cancel.
Hmm.
But to me, I was like, why am I getting a notice that this will cancel on this date just because my card was declined? You should
Yeah.
have just called me and been like, hey, your card was declined, update it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. So and the other thing is that they mail it to you. Even though I'm on a paperless, I guess they have to mail it in paper if it's a cancellation notice.
Yeah. Probably.
And but it's like, I got the notice and I'd already updated my card online.
Hmm.
But like, you
Oh.
know, not soon enough, like, because they
Yeah.
already put it in the mail, the magical
Yeah.
mail, the Pony Express brought it in. So man, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm having a rare week. How's your week going, Michelle?
I don't know. Like not like good or anything.
I'm on my anxiety medicine, so I'm actually doing a lot better than I was like 4 hours ago.
Oh, good. Good.
And I'm drinking a Diet Coke while I record, so while you're talking, I'm like quietly burping, and
Oh
they all
yeah.
and they all taste like hot dogs, like
Yeah.
good hot dogs, like sausages, like smoked,
Okay.
because that's what I had for lunch. Thank God. Otherwise, it's like I don't know why they taste that way, and then I just fall over in a seizure. Uh, but so I'm enjoying. See, it's lemons out of lemonade, so I'm like, well, at least I get to enjoy these sausage burps, you know, throughout the show.
Yay.
But no, your day's not too bad.
That's
Like,
fine.
you went to Walmart.
Yeah, I
How
went
was
to
that?
Walmart. Not good. I was looking for like a cup holder insert so that I can have a bigger container in it. And I got one on Amazon and it fits my giant water bottle, but so snugly that
Yeah, just comes
I
out with it.
can't get it out. So I like tried on the way to the home inspection that I went to yesterday, I tried to like do it and then I was like, oh, it actually like the actual cup holder just comes out with it. So I was like, I guess I'm just using it like that.
I
But
would
that
just use
didn't
it like that.
it didn't really work because it
Uh,
like made it kind of like awkward and
mhm.
then I like put it back in and then it like just fell and went somewhere and it was still in there when I found it. So so Walmart said maybe they had one and I was like, "Oh, I'll go and I'll bring my mug so I can see." But then I didn't bring my mug, so I just had to measure with my hand and they didn't have it. I don't
Oh,
think. I looked all over and then I got really stressed and I left. I mean, I got other things, but
well, you did just drop something interesting. So you went on. This was your first shadowing of a home inspection, right?
yeah, the first one as like a trainee, yeah.
Yeah. Because so how many do you have to do?
I have to do 40 hours. So I'm assuming that's like it's like maybe 14.
That's not that bad. 14's not bad at all.
I mean, except that my brain is just telling me that it's not really sure what I just no, like 13, 14. Yeah, that
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be about right.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No.
Well, I don't know anything about home inspections. In fact, I don't even know what a home is. Le- no, but I think that was hilarious. No, I don't know what a home inspector exactly like. I know what they do, but I don't really know what they do. I've never like had a home inspected.
You've never like been there when somebody inspected a house?
We you gotta like we got our
Yeah.
house and that was a big deal. We never sold it. You
Right.
know, like
Right.
I live in the house now that my mother had bought and I rent it now.
But
So we never sold it. So we never had a home inspector.
you never had like you never went to your mom's home inspection when she bought the house that she's in now?
She didn't. She moved in with her husband.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he's
then
had that and he's lived in that house for 32
so
years.
there's no home inspection.
I'm sorry. I'm sure that we had a home inspector inspect this house, but
Mhm.
I was like 9 or 10 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
So all I remember was that he looked exactly like Santa Claus.
Mhm.
I made that up.
I
I mean,
know.
like entirely. Um, but no, so I don't I mean, I know that they like walk around and look, but in my mind I'm like, "Huh, well I know so little. That could take between 25 minutes and 6 hours."
Yeah,
You
it
know?
it took for the condo, which was easy because it was a condo, and dumb because it was a condo. Like I don't have anything against condos.
I
I
do.
just think that they're boring, and and it was there. It's a really boring home inspection too because they don't you don't get to like talk about like the roof or like why is that gutter falling off, which it was, but it doesn't have anything to do with the tent, the person who's moving in. So
Yeah.
so it only took 2 hours. But the inspector that I was shadowing said, of course, yes, the day before, which I wish I was on that one, he was at a house that like he had to do like a sewer scope of, and then he had to like do inspect a pool as well. So it took 4 hours, and I was just like, man, I wish I
Mm.
was on that one. And he was like, because he said something like, oh, this is a good one for your first one because it was easy. And I was like, I didn't want an easy one. Like this was so boring. Like everything was fine except for like a couple of things that aren't a big deal.
See, that's why I'm glad. Like, I'm just glad because when you first said like you needed 40 hours of home inspection,
Mhm.
right? I was scared. I was like, oh God, is that like
A million.
50? Yeah, like
Yeah.
50 houses. I was like, that's a lot. But like 14, 15, 16, that's really not that bad. Somewhere in that
Right.
number.
Because 3 hours times uh
You mean divided by?
no, three times like 13 is 39 hours.
Hmm.
So yeah, 13, 14.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Ballpark butt math. So, but no, and I don't like condos either. A friend of mine was talking about buying a condo.
Hmm.
I don't like buying condos or apartments. I don't like the concept.
Well, it's the same thing.
I know.
So
But I'm just, they kind of feel different marketing wise. They say
yeah,
they're different.
yeah,
But
my
yeah.
mom says that apartments are when you rent them and condos are when you buy them. But I just think they're all apartments.
Yeah,
So
I mean, my cousin bought his apartment and it was not a condo. It was an apartment.
yeah.
But it's horrible because when you because well, because you live in a duplex. When you share a wall,
Hmm.
it's that's one wall. It's different. Like that wall is solid. It's actually separate.
Hmm. Yeah.
you know but in apartments obviously Like if your upstairs neighbor just lets their bathtub overrun, they're flooding the place you own. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
and that's actually literally what happened to my cousin. Sewage
Yeah. Like,
flooded his apartment that he owned, and the homeowner's place that he paid like $400 a year to was just like, and he was like, "How help?" And they were like, and he was like, "But you, all you exist for is like this," and they were like,
that's
so
interesting.
so he moved the fuck out and sold that place at a loss just to get rid of it because he was
Wow.
like, but but there are plus sides too because he owned his apartment. His mortgage was like $220 a month or something ridiculous.
Mhm.
I mean, around here things are very affordable anyway, but
Yeah.
that's like crazy affordable. So he had like a little 1 bedroom apartment,
Mhm.
but he was paying so little. That's why he bought it, because it was like the rent would have been 600 or at the time, like this is like 10 years ago, 600 or something, or 500. And it was like, or $225 and you own it. And it's like, and then you're just responsible for everything,
Mhm.
including the things you have no control of, like how your neighbors treat shared walls and shared plumbing. And so,
Yeah. I'm surprised about that. I mean, I guess that's not an issue for the HOA. Like, I guess it's like it's a combination. Like, you got to take care of your ceiling, and they got to take care of their plumbing. But I'm
well,
not really
the
sure.
tenants actually, the problem was the tenants actually all like gathered up to sue the HOA of that complex after all of that.
Oh,
No, they were like just not doing their fucking jobs.
okay.
Um, but that's made me go, I think I want like a house. I mean, I could handle a duplex. I lived in a duplex once. But we didn't own it, but we were renting it, but we lived in one, and that wasn't as bad as an apartment. I mean,
Are
like it didn't hear the neighbors as much and stuff like that.
When you say duplex, do you mean like a townhouse
I mean,
or
like a townhouse. Yeah,
okay.
sorry. I know you, Madam Inspector of Homes to be, has to slam all this terminology to make it sound like you're so much smarter than the rest of us. But no, I was talking about a townhome. Yeah, just a,
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
know,
I mean they're okay. I mean there's definitely going to be less problems, but anytime you share a wall with somebody, it's a big deal. Um,
well, your wall is like stone.
but I can hear my neighbor. Yeah, it's like concrete, I
Mhm.
think. Um, he's like a really really good neighbor, and he mows my grass, and then I mow his grass and stuff. But he runs up his stairs really really fast and
He's got
loud.
stuff to do.
And I guess they're like wood. They're not carpeted, so like I hear them. Like every once in a while, I'll also hear like music, but very rarely. But it's
Mhm.
usually just him running up and down stairs.
Yeah.
And then like I can hear his laundry whenever he's doing laundry,
Mhm.
which is all the time.
Well,
So
I'm not, I'm not doubting that there are drawbacks, but I mean, like compared to apartment where you share like more than one wall with more than one other person,
yeah, yeah,
and stuff like that. No, no,
yeah,
thank you. For me
yeah.
personally, I'm done with apartment living. I just can't. I can't do it. I haven't done it in so long. I'm good. I we used to my apartment in Jersey. I had so many the turnover rate of the upstairs neighbors was insane. And at one point I had a upstairs neighbor that my roommate and I were convinced that they move furniture for fun.
Maybe they did.
No, I mean no, because like we would be like listening because we'd be like, what is that sound? And we hear like thud, and then we hear like guys just giggling, and then like and I was like, are they rolling like a dresser? Like rolling it even though it's square? Like, like it was like they were doing that for entertainment. And I was like, this is fine. But I'm not gonna lie, like I remember podcasting there and getting too excited, making too much noise, and hearing like them stomp on the ceiling and being like,
Hmm.
I hate that feeling so much because I'm Midwestern, so I mostly just feel bad
Yeah,
that I was
yeah,
loud.
yeah.
But
What?
yeah.
Sorry.
No, no,
Sorry.
what?
Sorry.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say I had when I lived in my last apartment, I found out my neighbor could hear my radio and she like came down to talk to me about it or like left me a message and I was just like, oh my God, I'm just ruining someone's life.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
but meanwhile, like when I live in a house, it's like I'm gonna have my buddy over to bring his drum kit, like fuck it,
Oh,
you know, like
lucky.
just do it. Um But and yeah, so there's no complaints when I'm recording audiobooks at like 1:30 at night, and it's just like, no, please, no. And I'm like, ha, 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 nobody cares. I mean, shit. I'm positive that I could be a murderer because when we did Babysitter Massacre, all of the torture scenes in Babysitter Massacre were just in my kitchen. And they were like, we'd had full days of just like girl after girl screaming bloody murder and begging for their life and take after take. Nobody even looked at me weird.
Maybe they just know.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Either that you're a murderer or that you make movies, one of them, or both.
Or yeah, I don't know, but I just remember thinking like, wow, well, I guess there's no snitches in this neighborhood. That's good. I mean, they probably couldn't hear much either. I'm very surprised how little sound really travels outside of a building.
It depends on the building.
Oh, well, totally. I mean, these are all brick houses.
Hmm.
So that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But like even like when I do my movie screenings in the backyard, which I'm waiting in excitement for when the weather gets warm enough to start doing that again. But just side note, but when we were doing the screens in the backyard, I was always worried that it was being super loud and bothering the neighbors.
Hmm.
And so what I would do is I actually had the movie playing and the projector going and the sound up the way we like it.
Hmm.
And I actually like went inside my house because I'm the closest to the speaker, even though the speaker is facing the other way. I'm still the closest to the speaker. I couldn't hear it like at all with the door closed. Like I'd have to listen. I was like, do I hear a movie? And then I got up and I just walked out to the front of the house and just kind of walked around the
Hmm.
property. And I was like, I can't really hear it. Which then only made me
Awesome.
think, man, then how loud is the fucking music when the house three houses down is
Yeah.
having a party and I'm just listening to their music?
Yeah.
Um, but no, so I think it's not as bad as I think it is. I think it doesn't. I think that like 20 feet to like the next house, I mean, like the speaker is up against the wall of my house facing toward the neighbors, but the neighbor's like 25 feet away or something like
Hmm.
that, maybe more. I think that's a long way actually for that sound to travel,
Yeah.
especially like because I mean, if I wanted to talk to somebody from touching the back door of my house to get to communicate with somebody at the back door of their house, like my backyard neighbor,
Hmm.
I would be like, hey, I wouldn't be like, hey, how's it going? They'd never hear me.
Right.
So, but it's hard because I get paranoid, especially because we're like watching them at like 11:30 at night. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God, I already warned my backyard neighbors, my new ones. I was like,
Hmm.
we watch movies out here and stuff. And they were like, oh, it'll be fine. And I was like, all right, well, here's my card. And if we're ever too loud, like text me and ask me if we can turn it down or whatever.
Hmm.
And we'll try our best to, be good neighbors. So, but yeah, I'm always paranoid that like we're too damn loud. One thing that helped actually is instead of increasing the volume of the sound, we increased the quality of the sound instead.
Okay.
We went from using this little 10-watt speaker that can get really loud to using an old sound bar my buddy Keith just had laying around.
Hmm.
And it's a big speaker,
Hmm.
so it can be really loud, but it's really clear.
Yeah.
It has like super high clarity. That's the good word for it, clarity. And I noticed that made a huge difference. We were watching movies and the volume didn't even need to be that loud because we could hear it clearly.
Cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll be okay. I appreciate people taking, the beginning of the show with a plum because I just needed to get that off my chest and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
You're making a face.
Oh, I was waving to Gigs.
Oh,
Sorry.
you waved to your cat?
Yeah, because I didn't want to say, hey, Gigs. So I waved to her so she knew that I acknowledged her because she came downstairs.
Chicano has crammed my foot into his armpit, I guess.
Aw.
And he's just laying there like, I don't know if I want to sleep or not, but I'm gonna lay on your foot. Um so anyway, but no, I appreciate you, Michelle, because you took my phone call when I was struggling with this information. And I appreciate everybody who's working really hard and everybody who's supporting everything. So I'm gonna go rest for a little while
Okay.
and then think about what I'm gonna do next. Um, I guess I'm gonna start endurance training
Okay.
like immediately
Hmm.
to see if I can even do it.
Yeah.
Because I really don't know. Like
You can do it.
I mean, it's just, yeah. Sometimes I think I'm all good, and then I get gobsmacked with, you know, the sick feel again.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to work on it, guys. And I hope nobody thought this was too negative. I'm ready to try to do all this stuff. I have my doubts, but that's probably because I'm slightly not as stupid as I thought I was. So, but really, I think that I'm going to leave the last 15 minutes of the show to you, Michelle.
No, no. I don't have anything to say except that I didn't plug in my computer, and I'm waiting for it to say that it has 10% battery left so I can freak out about it.
And in a way, isn't that just a metaphor for life itself?
Yeah.
Is that the ice cream truck?
Yes, it is.
Will you get me something?
No, I don't have any cash at all.
I'm
So no.
If they don't take credit cards, then that is some bullshit.
I don't know if they take credit
It's
cards.
2021. They take credit cards.
It's a Mr. Softy.
They take credit cards. You just don't want to get me ice cream.
I mean, I could get you some and I guess just mail it to you.
I mean, yeah,
I
priority.
just put a stamp on the package and they'll take that, right?
Contains ice cream.
And they'll be like, is there any food in here? And I'm like, no.
No. Contains one ice cream cone.